Auckland.
FM.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Yes, let's talk advertising, social media and aeroplanes. Vaughn Davis from tgf.co.nz, the goat farmers, where everything's orange. Hello, Vaughn.
Everything is orange, apart from the goats. Goats sort of muddy brown.
Muddy brown, aren't they? Have you heard about the ag research goats?
The goys, yeah. Milking the boy goats. I'm not at home to milking the boy goats.
So what are they? They're boy goats, but they lactate. They lactate.
Oh yeah.
But apparently they do occur naturally. It's not just some freak.
No. Yeah,
but
they're not going, hey, let's create a master race of boy goats that we can milk. No, I think their motives were true, and the milkable boy goats were just a happy side effect.
What are they after, actually? I know we're off track already, but what do they want?
Pharmaceuticals.
Oh.
Whatever they are.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Don't know.
All right, let's move on to the advertising thing first of all, and I'll play a little bit of this ad.
If you're a clever ski bunny, you'll know there are many ways to make life easier when heading to the mountain. But one of the most important things to know is how to get chains on your car. There are 3 ways to do this. It all depends on how dirty you're willing to get. Here are some options. 1, shoulders back, lean on the car, and look confused. 2, unzip a little. You need to catch the attention.
It's at this point where the gag kind of gets quite visual. This is a Holidays NZ ad. It's on their YouTube.
Air New Zealand Holidays. Yeah.
Air New Zealand Holidays. Now it's an animation. She basically starts unzipping, and the headlights are on. And it's kind of odd. What is this?
It's on the face of it, it's a promotion for a winter holiday product around Ski Bunnies brand that in New Zealand Holidays seems to have developed along with a couple of partners, a rental car company and NZ Ski. But I don't know. I showed my wife, and I mean, she's pretty tolerant. You know, she puts up with me, and she thought it was quote the most sexist thing she can remember having seen.
Yeah,
it's without charm. It's even the animation. The animation's kind of sweet, although the sexy female bunny appears to me to have stubble.
There's a point in the ad where I think, oh no, they're actually going to show you how to put on chains.
Something good might happen.
But no.
Well, it's basically, I can see myself in an Air New Zealand flight, watching a flight attendant struggling with something heavy, saying, if you get your tits out, I'll help you with that. Because that's what this ad is saying.
It kind of, isn't it?
It kind of is.
And there is this thing with Air New Zealand at the moment, say with the whole Rico campaign as well, to turn everything sexy. Why?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're necessarily trying to turn everything sexy. I mean, you were talking about Richard Simmons. Nothing particularly sexy about that. I think they're courting controversy.
A lot of innuendo.
A lot of innuendo. That's right. I think they're courting controversy and they're trying lots of things, but. And I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of trying lots of things, and if they work, amplify them, and if they don't, kill them. But this is an instance, I think, where a little bit of judgment might have been good before they press the go button. Hey, it might come to nothing. There's no snow anyway.
No snow.
So no snow bunny, no ski bunny is going to make any difference.
That's true.
Snow.
Who's claiming responsibility?
For the no snow?
No.
Well, there's actually, I've spoken to a few people sort of off the record. Here we are on the record. There's a bit of finger pointing, and the airline is blaming the rental car company.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. Watch that space. That may not survive on YouTube for much longer. However, I have a cached copy.
Me too.
Don't know why. Well, I'd pull that out at a party or something. Check this ad out. Staying with advertising, my beef of the week, and maybe not so much yours, but is the Go Digital campaign.
I like the Go Digital campaign.
Featuring the Paperboy and the Tamagotchi.
Yep, the little doggy. Who's if anyone can remember the name of the dog, it made me laugh, and I can't remember it.
It's granted, it's an important campaign. We do need to educate people that analog TV is going to be switched off, and everyone has to go digital, either with Freeview or Sky. But why a Paperboy and a silly-looking animated dog? Aren't there smarter ways?
I don't think it needs to be a particularly smart message, because I think or a smart delivery method. Because I think the smart people already know. The people who don't know, no offence, Mum, is my mother and your mother. They're the people who
do.
I don't know.
They do because it's the younger generation that does inform. I think the old generation of what's going on, and there are a lot of smart people around. But I just think a lot of these ads, including the older Freeview ads, are always a little bit condescending, sort of talking down to
possibly,
older people.
Possibly. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, the bigger issue on this, and a couple of bloggers have picked up on this, is a lot of retailers are still selling TVs right now that in a year or less won't work.
Really?
And they're not
that
saying
don't have Freeview built in.
That's right. They don't have Freeview built in, which is going to. The story hasn't really broken yet, but there's a whole fit for purpose thing. If I buy a TV, I expect it to still be working in 1, 2, 3 years without having to bolt on a $200 box.
We had an organic collection the other day, and we had an old analog TV downstairs. So I thought, I'll put it out the front, and and as you do, a lot of people come by with their vans and trucks, and would stopped outside, and I said, "It's working TV," and then I wandered off and popped back down the stairs. Came back 2 minutes later, found that there'd been a hole punched in the side of the TV, and whatever was inside that was valuable, some copper or something, ripped out. So
they don't want those stinking analog TV. Our inorganic story was my son leaned his scooter on on our front fence for 5 minutes, and it got inorganic. And we'd just put if you've ever had to replace the wheels on a scooter, they're pretty expensive things.
Indeed.
Gone. Damn.
Oh, bugger. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
I didn't steal it, I recycled it.
Let's move on to social media side of things, a Facebook showdown.
Yeah, a slowdown. You've got to read the script,
right.
man.
Okay.
Facebook slowdown. This is really interesting news, and everything that's come out has had a whole lot of asterisks and disclaimers because no one wants to, piss off the Zuck.
Yeah.
But Facebook is losing members in the mature markets.
Is it?
Yeah. So while it's growing worldwide. So it's close to 700 million users, and they're hoping for a billion. In the United States and Canada, in the UK, Norway, a couple of other places, they're actually shedding users. And I've got the number. Where is it? The United States lost 6 million users in May. Which has got a lot of people going, okay, well, maybe there is a limit to growth for these things. And interestingly, the limit to growth, pretty much universally around the world, seems to be when 50% of your population are on Facebook. That's as many as they're ever going to do it.
But they're not losing people, are they? There's just a slowdown.
No, they're losing. They're losing.
Where are they going then?
Well, they're just
getting bored?
Not using it anymore. So worldwide, they're still growing, but most of the growth is in places like Brazil and parts of Asia and or markets that are newer to Facebook. But in places that are mature, they're actually losing users, according to some figures that came out earlier this week.
Facebook's one of those places, though, it's like Hotel California, you can never leave.
Well, you can't, and even if you do leave, your photos live on forever.
That's right.
This auto facial recognition thing that's been coming up in the last week, which I haven't been able to make work. Maybe my face is just too unrecognisable.
It's helpful in one sense, but maybe not so much in the others. If people are uploading photos and that it's automatically happening.
Yeah, it's a bit stalky. If Glenn says he was out, cleaning out kitten cages at the SPCA, but he's actually at the Pelican Club.
Yeah. Likely.
It's not what you want your girlfriend to know necessarily.
Yeah. Okay, and staying with Facebook, just because this has been shared around on Facebook, a Fiji campaign.
I like this. I think this is I mean, hey, it's not going to convince me to go and bathe in the blood of the workers in the corrupt dictatorship of Fiji. But I love the billboard. It's a big billboard just around the corner from my house, and it's got a big digital readout in the middle, and it just simply says today's high in Fiji, which at the moment I think is running around 29, 30 degrees.
That's very cool.
And on a cold, rainy, shitty Ponsonby Road day, you're walking down the road and the water's running down the back of your neck. That's a pretty compelling advertisement, and it just seems too simple.
They need a counter billboard to that, though. Someone else has come up. The political situation in Fiji.
Yeah, well, that's someone needs to care enough to do that, I suppose.
Yeah. Tensions between Fiji and Tonga. Tense.
Yeah. Minerva Reef. They need today's temperature at Minerva Reef.
There's another side to the whole Fiji side. And we're talking about that. In order to get to Fiji, of course, you've got to fly.
You would fly. You're king of the segways today.
You certainly couldn't fly from Christchurch or Dunedin today.
You couldn't fly from anywhere down south because of the volcanic ash cloud. Impressive stuff. And interestingly, the whole idea of aeroplanes and volcanic ash clouds not getting on is a really new phenomenon. I guess maybe flying's only been around for 100 years, and there just weren't enough big volcanoes going off.
Yeah.
And I was looking back on the very, very famous British Airways incident, 1982, when all 4 engines failed.
That was have you ever seen the? It's not. I shouldn't be alive, but anyway,
It's one of those,
It's a recreation of that
Yeah,
event,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that is amazing. The cycle they go through to try and get those engines.
Yeah,
up and
restart.
running. Wow.
They got down to around, I think, 11,000 feet before they got those puppies going.
Yeah.
Interesting sort of facts come out of it, though. I mean, a 747 will glide. Any aeroplane will glide. I mean, you watch a space shuttle. There's no engines going when it comes in. 747's got a glide ratio of 15 to 1. So it means if it's up 1,000 feet in the air, it'll go forward 15,000 feet, which is pretty good.
Yep.
You'll get places. But the ash is really damaging in lots of ways. I mean, firstly, it clogs the engine and sort of melts and congeals on your turbine blades, and everything goes bad. No air goes through it. But it also sandblasts your windows.
Yeah.
So if you've got sandblasted glass on your shower or your bathroom windows or whatever privacy, try flying an airplane while looking through that.
Yeah.
And that's the two main reasons they don't like going there.
Can you speculate why Jetstar and Qantas are less prepared to fly than Air New Zealand?
No, I mean all airlines have got different operational policies, and it's their own judgment. Air New Zealand's saying they've got experience with flying through ash clouds or around ash clouds because we had the Ruapehu eruption. Geez, it's 15 years ago, I think.
I'd say Air New Zealand has more Skyhawk pilots. Would that be the?
Oh yeah, we're fearless. Well, they're fearless. And I suppose, maybe economically being harsh. Qantas and Jetstar can afford not to fly to New Zealand, but if Air New Zealand's not flying in New Zealand, it's all over Rover. And they ran an interesting ad, which I think was a little bit of overconfidence. Smoking or non-smoking flights to Australia. Did you see that earlier in the week? I've been trying to find it. There was a little web ad, and it's been pulled. But from the flight safety perspective, for an airline to come out and say, we're going to go, we don't care if there's ash. Geez, it's the expression we had in the Air Force was poking sticks at tigers. You're sort of publicly saying we're not scared of this shit. Maybe you should be scared of it.
And if something does go wrong, then...
Yeah. But I mean, that British Airways 747, because it was full of rich white people, was famous. But then 20 days later, the same thing happened to Singapore Airlines, same place, 3 engines shut down. And as recently as 1989, a KLM 747 lost all 4 engines in Alaska. But I'd never heard about those other 2 until I was researching this one.
No.
I guess they didn't get the book and movie deal.
And
Got to be first.
Talking about the glide, also on one of those similar shows where they find out what happened in an air traffic accident, there was another aircraft, I think it was just a 2-engine Boeing, that lost both engines over the Pacific, and they were gliding for a long time, and they managed to land at an Air Force base somewhere on one of those remote islands.
While gliding.
While gliding. I mean, they came down very, very hard and skidded along them, but everyone survived.
Yeah.
That's a little known story as well.
Yeah, I mean, what a lot of people don't realise is if you're flying, your 737 from Wellington to Auckland or whatever, when they descend, those engines are at 0 power. You are gliding.
Yeah.
They might as well be turned off.
Yeah.
All airplanes glide.
Just before you land, you hear that total power down, don't you?
Yeah.
They'll
They'll put power back up on approach because they're putting their flaps and their gear and all that sort of stuff
But just
down.
before you hit, you hear that total drop. Yeah.
But I mean, from the top of descent until they dirty up for landing. To go back to the
What's the optimal landing speed? Is it 200?
No, it varies. It varies for all aeroplanes, and it varies for weight.
Okay.
So something like the tiny little things I fly, you can be landing at 50 knots, and larger airplanes will be up close to 100 knots.
Okay. Interesting. There you go. All right, that's been advertising, social media, and aeroplanes with Mr. Vaughn Davis. You can find this as a video once more up at tgf.co.nz. Go along there.